for David Rossi, who on a channel for, I think it's called Affiliate Marketer on MC or something like that. I'll put the link to the video in the description. Had asked about API calls, and so I had told him that I would make a video for him. He told me that my website looks amateurish, but I hadn't made this video yet. So this is one of like my 80 websites, and I'll go into details like why I designed this website this way. And sure, it looks amateurish, but the point of the question was, how do you make the API calls, right? So first, I'll show you examples of the API calls, and I'll show you where in code, how you can get that code out of my website. And if you want the code for the Lambda, just leave a message on my channel, on this video, whatever, or find me on LinkedIn and let me know, and I'll give you the code to the Lambda. But that also means you need to have access to AWS. And by that, I mean this kind of AWS, not just like the Amazon store, but the web services. So this right here is the Lambda that makes the API call. And apologies if I made it sound like you don't right now need to have ability to make API calls. You still need to be able to make the API calls. This to me is probably like one of the more simple examples of how to get this done. All of this back here is written in such a way that I am writing to a Dynamo database every time that somebody uses my chatbot, right? And when you went to this website, I hadn't updated this. See, it's like failing to fetch because honestly, because it costs me compute every time somebody uses it. So unless I'm gonna go up for like interviews or I have a reason to make sure that they're active, I don't really keep up with these. Like I said, I have about 80 websites. Some are mine, some are like some of my clients. But the reason this one isn't working has not to do at all with the API call. It's actually a CORS call. So right here, I didn't change, when I got this out of one of my other websites, I didn't change the name to agi.kitchen. So I can show you in code right here. I'll show you how that Lambda is working and how to fix that. And my code is right here. So here I had, I think I already fixed it, agi.kitchen. So if we look at this right here, so here is where I had, like when I checked this right before this call, this is where I had written the shrinko.me website. So that's all that means. So in order to connect this, so this is my front end. Like this right here is my front end. And it is what is letting the chatbot connect to the API call. That is, this one's using OpenAI and getting back the answer from the LLM. So the API is in these two places. So it is in my code right there. Right, so if you notice here, let's see, it'll give us like an address. So is it this one? No, that's not it. I'm just making sure that I tell you exactly where it is. Because this code is purposefully written like as sloppy as can be, because I don't want people to like be able to just come in and lift my code. I have another video where I explain like why I am choosing to go into HTML, but I will show you again at the end of this video why. But first I want to make sure I answer your question straight out the gate. So here is the fetch function, right? So this is fetching the conversation. So this is the place in my front end that connects to the API. You can rip all this code off of my website. I'll even show you how. It's nothing fancy. And it's using the post request. So this is like basic web development, right? So it's not connecting straight to OpenAI's or ChatGPT's API from here. This is calling my Lambda, and then the Lambda is over here. And it's here where the Lambda is actually making the call to the LLM. So it goes through two steps because I wanted to use that as my front end. So none of this is simple. Like none of this is like, oh, you just dive right in. If you want this code, let me know. You can have it too. I've had it up for free before. The reason I took it down was because if you're not careful, like you could totally bankrupt yourself. So like my code has some stopgaps. The whole AWS setup has stopgaps so that nobody like attacks my website and then makes a shit ton of calls, and then my ChatGPT bill goes up, and then all of like writing to the Dynamo database, which is where I'm collecting all the data when users have had the chance to use it, is being written to, right? So yes, you can have all this code, but I still think that you should have somebody overlook it. It's not yet a simple procedure, but I did have a Zoom call earlier with Etienne, who I bumped into similar as I did to you on another YouTube channel, and his question was very similar to yours. He was like, people that don't really code, like, it's really hard for us to figure out how to connect the APIs, right? So I think that should be like my next goal of something that will actually like generate enough interest for me so that I can generate money off of like, you know, the time that I'm spending on it, and also provide something useful. So there are some third-party apps like Zapier. There's a reason why as a software person I don't use things like Zapier. I've been able to run into infinite loops on Zapier and wasted all my zaps in like less than a minute. And sure, they were gracious enough to give me back as many as I wanted, but I was like, no, but like if you're supposed to be my automation solution and you don't have like a way to stop an infinite loop when I'm learning how to use your interface especially, then to me that's like not quality. But I'm not saying that they're not great at what they do. I think they are, and they provide a lot. But for me, it's like, well, if I'm gonna have to be doing all of that due diligence and all those like tedious details, well, then I might as well just write the code myself, right? And also, I'm gonna show you why my website, which appears to be so amateurish, is as it is. I'm gonna use ChatGPT to explain it to you, but I just want to make sure that it's clear, like that this is the API call right here. I'll even put this into the description in this video because there's nothing here that is like proprietary, and it's not anything that you couldn't have gotten ChatGPT to spit out for you. Like all of the other stuff that goes into making this happen is like it's not rocket science, but it isn't not rocket science. To explain all of that stuff, this is my actual, well, this is my current like most recent, I guess, page where I'm like uploading content. The page that, or the name you found me under, is like that's my real life page, and this is like a little bit more professional-ish, where I actually make content that's useful for like interviews and stuff, or for like actual clients. But in this video, the one that I have highlighted at the like as the initial video, around minute 26 is where I explain in detail like how this lambda works and how this is the way that the call to the API works in this example. So I have other examples. So over here, this is a Streamlit. So this is a different way to make API calls. Let me show you this code, right? And in this code, this is using a Streamlit app, which a lot of people use with like Snowflake databases. Or it was actually, I think it got bought up by Snowflake. But the API calls here look like this. See, so like there's nothing simple about it. It just really depends on what you want your front end to look like what your users are going to be using, like how much you need to scale, how much traffic you're expecting, like how much you want to spend. Do you want to have like a way so that your data never gets dropped even if their connection to the internet gets dropped? And like, do you want to persist that same API call? How do you optimize that? Like, none of these are simple questions. So I think I should make something that's simple, but at the same time, I don't want to mislead people into thinking that like a simple wrapper is going to be your best bet. Like, yes, I get it. I do work with like business intelligence all day. So I understand like you need to have a product that you can take to market right away. But what's the point of having a product if it's just going to bankrupt you, right? Because there's like some crazy API call that you weren't expecting, and like nobody knew to tell you to put in a stopgap for it. So if you have like a real specific use case, if you can tell me like exactly what it is, like how many people are going to use it, like how often, is there going to be more downtime or uptime? Do you want them to use something that looks like the ChatGPT interface, or do you need them to look like a website? So like here's another one. Like here's my more like this is one of the businesses that I actually like built their website for. I don't like building websites because I'm not a pixel pusher. I'm a data scientist and a computer scientist these days. Like I was a pixel pusher in the past. Yes, it does not look professional, but they also paid me very it wasn't about getting paid for me. It was about like helping them promote this product right here, and about like the art. But they were sucking on rank on Google search engines, so now they're ranking pretty high. And part of it was I was like, look, I don't have time to like sit there and like make your website look really pretty. Like I built all this other stuff, or here. And I told them like there are certain things that like we're just gonna have to accept. Like there's gonna be typos on your page. Those are on purpose because the Ahrefs stuff and all that like looks for very specific misspelled words, because that's how people are usually typing into the search console. Like there's so much behind this, that's not worth like going into details because it has nothing to do with the API calls. But I want to go back to this website that does look really simplistic. And I think I did explain like the only issue here was that I was making the call to the wrong website, so my cores was blocked. And I can try to fix that later. I'm not sure that it's like worth the effort for me to like pay for the what would you call it, like for people to use the chatbot. I might, I don't know. It was working before. In fact, let me show you the Dynamo queries that it was capturing so that you can see like the full scope of what it looks like when you're actually interacting with the API and you're capturing your customer's input. So here is the conversations one. This one is the conversations. Here is the table items. And so here on here's like where people were actually like typing stuff in when I still had this active. So here's my initial prompt, and actually that's probably like when somebody, let me see. Pretty sure somewhere here, like somebody typed in something. I'm sorry, I'm having such a hard time finding the actual. Okay, so here they are. So here's the full conversation. See, so the user said this: the kid would help me. I would feel like I got to be the fun one. I have no idea who wrote this or what this conversation was about. What I was capitalizing on here was giving proof of why it's important to have control of your own digital real estate, because if I was to just use some random old chatbot, I never would have captured this. It never would have been like in my possession. I could not have real-time analytics to make sure that I'm delivering exactly what I want for my users. There's already like what I do during the day. Like I know for a fact that there's hyper-targeted marketing like already in the works using AI and what I would call baby AGI, to make sure that your clients have like real time, in the moment, the best answer that they could possibly get right from your chatbot or from their experience on your website. That's why I'm doing this, and because I also can control the security behind it. So in this particular example, I don't collect IP addresses, and I also don't collect emails or anything like that. I just wanted to know what were people asking about, like when I started first putting up chatbots. So that's the full API call. All of the interactions from the LLM. So like this is using ChatGPT, from ChatGPT and from the user are getting recorded into my database over here, right? And so here's the last time that this got used was in February? No, actually April. Earlier this month. And so over here, let me see. Is where I was debugging the issue with the lambda execution, right? And then I want to show you like why I decided to make my website look like I did. This very simplified website is actually like quite extensively like robust and secure. So yes, it does look very simple. Don't think that it's because I can't make stuff like this. And again, like I'm also at the will of the client, I have to make them look like whatever people want me to make them look like. It's not up to me. But again, I'm not a pixel pusher. I actually accepted this client because I don't usually take web development jobs, because he was so easy to work with. Like he was like, yeah, do whatever you gotta do. Like honestly, I don't even care. I just want people to come through my door. I have other videos where you can see that like he's reporting like very much accelerated foot traffic. So he's actually like going to be able to stay in business. Like he's doing a lot better. And I was supporting him because he actually patented these needle organization kits. And so I just thought it was brilliant that a tattoo artist would like be able to do something like that. Not just, make tattoos, but make the whole the whole space safer for everyone. So this simplistic website over here is jam-packed with SEO features and what I call websites of the future features. This chatbot here will work pretty soon if I feel like it. Here is like ChatGPT's better explanation than mine as to why this is like the way to go. Where did I put that? All right, let me make sure that I find that again. Okay, here. So I was asking like ChatGPT, like, can you help me explain like why this is the right way to go? Okay, so I dumped into it like a bunch of my files. So here's all my files, and I was like, can you explain it? And like, here's some of the reasons why I did what I did. Here's ChatGPT's explanation about the simplicity. So at this point, I've like already answered like one of the questions about the API. Again, just tell me exactly like what it is you want to, like what would the perfect thing look like for you in the end, and then I can tell you like, oh, it's this design, or like here's a way to get around all of that. My website is built for reasons that are not to like promote my business. Actually, my content promotes my business, and so does like my resume, and so does like my skill set, and word of mouth. But anyway, so like I chose HTML because with WordPress it gets really bloated. I had sites on WordPress, and when they got cyber hacked through cPanel with GoDaddy, it cost me so much money to fix that, and it took months and months for them to be able to replicate the database. So I started, instead of storing everything onto the GoDaddy servers, I actually wrote it all in HTML, as crappy of HTML as I could possibly come up with, so that nobody wants to rip off my HTML easily. And like I said, I have a video where, I think I've said it, I have a video where you can see like what I mean about people using AI to rip off your video, to outdo your video with your website with your own website's content. Like F that, right? So I'm not gonna let people just use things like Harpa come in and steal all my content and then outrank me with my own content. That would be stupid of me. So I'm actually making it really hard with the way that I streamline the HTML for people to lift content that way. And I'm also simultaneously, like ChatGPT is telling you here, like making sure that I'm able to save it locally. So if anything happens cybersecurity wise again, I just like nuke my entire cPanel on GoDaddy. I just like basically like delete everything that I have for every website. These aren't all my, I think these are most of my websites, not all of them. Some of them are my clients' websites, but I delete everything from there. And then I don't have to like pay through the nose to get my cybersecurity fixed. And I don't have to wait 3 months for GoDaddy to clean up the same shared directory or whatever they call it, the shared like the shared space. Because if you want your own isolated server, like it's a whole lot of other money too, and then even then they don't guarantee it's going to be clean. So anyway, that's why I don't want to use WordPress anymore. Like it's too much work, and then you have to be like continually updating plugins. So like why do all that when the data shows that people are moving towards like really simple websites? Like a ChatGPT, it's like as simple as can be, right? So so here is sorry, this is for an interview that I was like prepping for. Where'd my ChatGPT thing go? Here it is. Okay, so simplicity and efficiency. Okay, so the other reason is because if I was building something for a client, I would not build something that's so complicated that they can't then hire somebody for a fair price to fix whatever might be broken in case I was no longer available or working for them or whatever, right? Because a lot of software engineers do that. Like they will make sure that nobody can read their code for job security, which I'm not a fan of. So yeah, and HTML, you can dump it into ChatGPT, into Claude, into whatever LLM you want, and it will fix it for you. And it's really easy on GoDaddy. Like again, here's the cPanel. So like to fix something, you just go into like, let's say agi.kitchen. I dump one of my files in there. See, like I could dump my blog file in there, and then oops, I clicked the wrong button. And then I would see, where's edit. And then I would just ask ChatGPT to like fix it for me. So that's what ChatGPT itself is saying over here. And you could have asked Claude the same questions to probably give you the same answers, probably even better ones sometimes. Okay, so it's the cybersecurity solution. So like instead of paying through the nose for someone else to handle cybersecurity, I'll just nuke my own website if it gets hacked again, and then I just like have it saved locally to like a multi-terabyte hard drive. And then here's what I was saying about putting the content in different iframes. So like in this layer of protection, means that people can't just go scrape my website. I worked in automation for a couple of years, so like I can scrape any website. I don't care what kind of security they think they have on it. Like I've been able to get around some stuff, right? So that's why I did that way, so that you can't just like go and get all of the headers and all that traditional SEO practitioners, those tactics that they use to outrank other people. So then using the lambda for the interaction, right, is what I was talking about, like that feedback loop that I have like full control of, that I have fully accessible all the time, is like really valuable, especially if you're in e-commerce or like some business where the user's experience is as important, because your customers are God, right? Like at least that's the way I was taught software. Like you can real time address whatever it is that they might need. So then the fact schema. So I used structured JSON. A lot of the existing tools for WordPress also use structured JSON. However, like I have found like a lot of little hacks for even improved structured JSON, so that I can make sure that like things like Perplexity and other AI search engines are going to find my data more easily, and it's going to be easier for search engines like Google to read my data and to index it or to catalog it, so that the long tail search terms are more easily findable because I've put them into the correct types of schemas. So I don't know how in depth your technical background is. I'm sure there's better ways to phrase all of that, but in a nutshell, like I can show you in code what that means. So it's not this one. This one's actually like a Frosty app, and it's actually right here. Let me go back to this code. So if you look at this code right here, when I look at my Q&A, so let's look at one of the Q&As right here. See this right here? Like this is structured JSON. So will WordPress actually go through this painstaking labor of like creating these? Probably, because they claim to have schemas, but this way, like I know exactly what schemas, and because I do a lot of like preliminary work to look for search trends. People used to do keyword stuffing, and then they got flagged by like the Google algorithms. Well, like all of my structured JSON const. Well, this is actually like a JavaScript, but all of these actually also are like a cheap way, I guess, of like making sure that the keywords are present. But more importantly, like I know exactly what the Google search engines and the AI search engines are going to be reading from my website. So I know that I'm like targeting the long tail keywords that are going to be more and more prevalent for SEO, like in future iterations of like search engine optimization. So this is all preemptive. I think that this also like explains the use of the simplistic website. I actually did a lot of research on like what is the best way to present your website if it's a website of the future. So if you look at the ChatGPT interface, like when you first go to ChatGPT, like look at this, like there's nothing here, right? So my other websites like shrinko.me, like if you go into where I actually like have one of the chatbots, like see, like super simple. So all I did was take that and squish it into here, because like I said, I was using this for other things too, like for work. And also because I'm using it to like demonstrate like a lot of stuff. Like I don't know how old you are, but like it used to be that the paper, like you could open the paper and like it was like a section where it had a shit ton of information about all sorts of things in like 2 pages. So like I am trying to like replicate that experience, right? So that anybody that comes to my website like knows, oh, like I want to know more about AI services. So here's like stuff about AI chatbots, and what do you mean for parents? And then like people can unscroll, right? So is it simplistic? I guess so, but it's not to me. And so if I want to see my blog, like here's my blog. So I haven't actually posted blogs, but I can go to my QA, right? Is it really simple looking? Yes, it is. But you know who doesn't think it's simple? AI search engines. Do you think I care more about like someone's opinion about what it looks like, or that like Google can find me? I care more about that Google can find me, or like Perplexity can find me. And that is why I'm not a pixel pusher. And that's why I'm really picky about which clients I take on, because I'm like, look, I'm not here to like make it look pretty. If you give me like your design and like you have it already drawn out, whatever, like give it to me, I'll make it work. But I'm not gonna handhold people through like what they want their websites to look like. And I'm dyslexic, so having these like alternating colors, for me, like I did this for me, not for anybody else. Because that's like the easiest way for me to read something. And these colors on the right hand side, like, yeah, this color is a little bit dark, but again, like, you know, the GPT response also was like talking about the interactive and dynamic content, right? So like people want to be able to just like look at your page and know what to do. So if you actually like collapse it, it's still like quite, oh, why can't I collapse it? This is like, see, like, oh, actually it doesn't do this on my laptop, but on your phone it'll collapse these left and right, or it should. And even if it doesn't, like, that's like, I'm here to do science, not with development, but I do care about the design experience. Let's see what else. Oh, and like, so if you look at the parent website, right, like this is the parent website. So I no longer like use this website because it was just like too much information and too much upkeep, and like having to like keep up with all this crap just like got on my nerves. But this one also has like a lot of, I think this has a lot of blogs. Yeah, see, like this has a shit ton of blogs in it too. And this is one of the ones that got taken down with like a cybersecurity attack. And I was like, I'm never gonna put myself through this again, because if I had these blog posts and then they get hacked, and I get hacked, or I take them down, and then the search engines go looking for the pages that used to exist and they're not there anymore, it's like a huge hit on your SEO. So hence the very simplistic website. So let's see. See, like it also supports having like all of the affiliate links and stuff like that on the same website, because yes, I am trying to like capture every demographic that I've seen like in interacting with either my content here or on LinkedIn or wherever, and so in conclusion, it's well positioned for the future of the internet. Prioritizing user control, data security, and engagement, right? So simplistic, sure, but is it doing what it's supposed to do? Yeah, you bet it is. And I also have not even incorporated blockchain, but I made sure to be able to make that accessible through my website too, like if I feel like it. And so if I go even here, right, like see how it highlights it in yellow? It's because I'm dyslexic, so like I need like those kinds of things to like help me be able to read it. So yeah, see. I don't really know how what else I can really say, other than if I hear back from you, then I'd be happy to like deep dive into like your use case. If anybody's interested, you can go to these Zoom calls. So on Saturdays, and that's the kind of Zoom call I had this morning. Like I have this like group Zoom. So I had to start billing because I'm like a legit company by the IRS. So I have to like be profitable, right? Like I have to prove that I'm like, I do bill for my time as a software engineer. I've been a teacher in the military, so I've done my social services stuff plenty. So if you have like specific questions and you sign up for one of these, you might be the only person there that day, so I can answer all your questions. Or if it's somebody else, if other people are there, then I try to answer everybody's questions, just like I did on this Zoom call, right, where I think everybody got their questions answered, and this was like the meat of the whole session. This video is done really well. I also have paid like I think $40 to make sure that it propagates through YouTube. And if you're very interested in a website of the future, then you can also sign up for this one-on-one Zoom call where I like collect your information. Ooh, I need to fix that. It's actually over here. Like maybe this is the right time for me to be looking for all this. So it's actually this one. Full service BT. I can change that after I finish this video. I'll change it. So it's $900, but the flat fee that I charge is $3,000 if you have an existing website, and then $5,000 if you don't have an existing website, for me to add onto it, like all of the structured JSON and all that other stuff. So if your website looked like the Art of Ink Studio website, or it looks like one of these websites, I know how to go into cPanel, which is this, and add like all of the stuff that the AI search engines are going to be looking for. for you, so that you don't have to change your website. I don't have to manage your website or your Google SEO. Like, I just can focus on making sure that you're gonna rank for future websites, and that includes like being able to connect to the LLMs via API. I hope that helps kind of clarify some of that. Please know that I'm very grateful that you asked me that question. And yeah, let me know how I can help you.